Hey, Sloth Boy.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hey, I found something you might want to take a look at. You
Oh,
see, this location of yours might be a bit more important than you thought.
what do you mean?
Well, I don't really know. And that's weird for me because I know lots of things. Here, come and see, come and see.
Okay. Where do we go from here?
It's just up ahead.
Okay, so is this like something like actively dangerous? Is this...
Well, I wouldn't say dangerous, but it's certainly worth taking a look at. See, I was just exploring this cave system. As you can see, I was mining some stuff right here.
Yeah, you and
And I
your...
found this. And at the end of this tunnel, there's like some weird altar thing. I'm not really sure. It's got diamonds in it, if nothing else.
Oh, okay, I'm seeing it. Oh, hello. A lot of
Oh,
mobs.
whoops.
Oh,
Yeah, lots.
sorry.
Ow!
Sorry.
Well, I suppose that makes us even.
Okay, so...
So, like, I'm not exactly from around this area. Is this just kind of normal for here? Is this like, I don't know.
No,
Is it like
no. It looks like it kind of connects up to the surface a little bit because it has that ice.
huh? Yes, I can confirm that is indeed ice. So what's up here?
Yeah, like...
What?
What in the
What
world?
is that?
I've never seen
Interesting.
that before. Have you?
Not that I've seen. Like, not outside of a movie. Here, pick it up.
It-
Okay, so it didn't kill you instantly. That's a good sign.
Well, okay.
Is like holding it tell you anything? Do you like see anything on there?
No, I'm not. I'm not seeing anything. It's
Hmm.
just strange stone.
Huh. All the times not to have an analyzer set up. Jeez.
Do you have a way of possibly looking into this?
I mean, I have a cloning machine. I don't know if that would help, but I could certainly build something.
Okay, so I'm assuming in order to do that, we need to flesh out your basement a bit more.
Possibly. I mean, it's like I have a very important experiment coming up, but I think I could find the time while I'm working on that to set something up. I have a little space set aside just in case I needed to do something, like unforeseen circumstances, which I think this applies.
Okay, well, let's head back home. We'll make some plans to
I'll start drawing up blueprints.
okay, I'll start trying to get an entrance in your place, cause
All right,
that
yeah,
still
that
needs to be
sounds
done.
good. Yeah, that does need to be done. As much as I enjoy randomly teleporting, it's a bit disorienting.
No, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Anyways, um, maybe do some poking around on your end, see if you can find anything out about it. I mean, after all, you have it in your possession. That'll tell you any more than
that's true.
what I could right now.
I might know a person who could maybe give some advice, but we'll see. But yeah, I guess just for now, let's head back home. So I've started the entrance of Blank's basement. As you can tell, we kind of went towards the back of the building, and it's going to be like all secret and stuff and cool. And I actually picked up some of the clay from the mossy cave that we went through to get through to the thing. Yeah, we just have a little elevator that goes down into there. I'm not entirely sure on what I want to do there yet, but yeah, I think it's about time that we actually get these lights in a more proper place. There you go. Now, the next thing to work on is mostly going to be the door that we're going to have here, because I don't know, I think having a a redstone door that goes to the lab is pretty fitting. So, yeah, we've dedicated a little area out to here. And funny enough, I have actually, well, here's the thing. Whenever you come up with an idea for something like redstone related, you never know if you're the first person to do it or if you're just treading on old ground. So I'm just going to say for now that I did come up with my own door, but full disclaimer, someone else has probably come up with it. Okay, so I am really bad at explaining piston mechanics, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. I absolutely butchered it on my last single-player video, but hopefully I can do a little better here. So when this is powered, the redstone goes right on top of here. It's actually very, very similar to how a Jeb door works. That up there will power this one, and then the repeater, which essentially gives it a slight delay, goes to that observer, which essentially allows this to kind of stick out a bit. I know I'm not exactly explaining this in the most intricate way possible, but that just know that this observer block combination not only helps this thing extend to extend it a second block, but also helps retract everything. Okay, so I believe, for the most part, the entrance into the basement is mostly done. We have that door fully functioning. By the way, these observers do actually completely nothing when it comes to the redstone of itself, but I do kind of like how it does a little flash while it opens. And also, if you look at it from its side profile, it kind of looks like it's like two metal bars with like a slot in the middle, so it looks like it could be sliding on something. And you only see it for a very small amount of time, but I still feel like it's kind of a neat block to have there. But if this closes for a moment, you can actually see that this looks very similar to your... I don't even know what kind of door they call it, but I guess a push door that they usually have in most industrial buildings. Like you can see like the foot guard or whatever they call on it, and that's where you like push, and that's the rest of the bar. But yeah, I did kind of skim over it before as part of a gag. But yeah, no, this hallway, considering that it is, you know, oh yeah, I've been getting a lot of server lag, so building this was actually painfully slow. But anyways, if it wasn't obvious, that because I have this connecting up to the lab where things are going to get a little more serious, maybe a little spooky, we'll see. And I was also on a bit of a liminal space kick. I decided to essentially make a backrooms-esque hallway where everything is completely blank. There's honestly a very interesting history with me in liminal spaces, like long before... Maybe before the... I wouldn't be surprised if the term was coined a long time ago and it just wasn't popularized until recently. I had to go into the hospital because I had appendicitis. For those who don't know, appendicitis is essentially a... How do I explain this? It's essentially a growth below your stomach, I think? Abdomen? I forget exactly. All I'm gonna say is that appendicitis is something that you really shouldn't mess with, and is very serious. And I remember having to go to the hospital for it, after I woke my parents up in the middle of the night because it hurt so bad. And I had to be admitted into a hospital. Now, here's the thing. The hospital had to watch me to make sure things didn't get any worse before they could surgically remove the appendicitis. So I was kind of left to just be in the hospital for a week, I think, approximately. And something that I remember very clearly, besides just being generally grumpy, groggy, and playing a lot of Pokemon on my DS, is that there would be a point in time right before I was, able to sleep where nurses, keep in mind, I was like, 9, 10 at the time, so obviously couldn't be left by my lonesome. I was accompanied by nurses, I think, to go to the bathroom. I don't remember the details very well, but going down the hallway, it was this very dimly lit hallway, like even more dim than in there. And I very much remembered it being a liminal space. Now, obviously, I didn't really identify it as a liminal space at the time. I just kind of remembered looking at it and just being like, if I were by myself, I would absolutely be deterred from going down this hallway. Because, I was a kid. I was going to be naturally scared of everything. I was a very fearful kid. But at the same time, I was also very fascinated by the mood it gave off. And I guess that was like my first experience with liminal spaces. Maybe just the familiarity from the hospital just kind of carried over. But I just found myself just finding comfort in that space. And maybe it's just because with hospitals, I'm kind of fascinated with them in general, because you would think, right, that a place where I could have, been seriously hurt, is a place that I wouldn't want to think about too much. But I mean, I don't know. I feel a sort of fascination with the fact that things could have gone so differently. If that makes any sort of sense. And I'm getting lagged again. This is supposed to open by itself. There's a skulk sensor below. I like the liminal aesthetic. It's just that I didn't know what to call it at the time. So, yeah, I don't know. There's that loneliness that I just find so cool about it. It's I'm probably super weird for thinking that. Anyways, on with this thing. This was admittedly way more painful for me to set up than I had initially planned it to be. And 5 minutes after building it, I thought of a way that would have probably been so much easier to set up. But in any case, so yeah, this is essentially a two-way elevator. So you can fall down this way. And you go down to Blank's basement down here. He told me that this is the part where we'd be entering from. And if you press this button, well, sorry, it's very loud. I probably need to turn that down. But essentially, all these dispensers go off to turn all these air blocks into full water blocks, which essentially allow us to go all the way up. And if you need to go back down again, you just need to do that, and they all disappear. It's kind of fancy. But don't tell Blank this, but there's a very specific spot right here that can spawn mobs. So technically, you are in danger in the backrooms. I probably could have done this with a little more efficiency, but yeah, now I gotta kind of figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with this space. As you can see, I started building it a little bit, And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is probably not gonna be the final blocks. Like, it's not gonna be completely snow and whatnot. The main reason I'm just filling it in with snow now is mostly just so I understand the space that I'm working with a little better, because I feel like I can't really make a well-informed decision on that with a build like this. Keep in mind, this is my first time building to this kind of scale, so making hallways that are this big and whatnot is very new to me, so I just want to make sure that I understand the space as much as I can in my head while I brainstorm ideas, if that makes any sense. Ooh, that's a creeper right there. Also, we have this little stairway, a very long stairway. I want it to be dramatic, okay? Because this will eventually lead into the throne room. Yes, I didn't really think of this, but the throne room is right above the backrooms hallway. In other news, I have actually been working on something a bit different because I need more storage and I need something to connect our two storage areas. As you can see, we got some blue terracotta from silver, and we kind of did a like navy blue and also futuristic white combination here. I was heavily I mean, I wasn't heavily is kind of a weird term here, because I think I was more subconsciously inspired by like cruise ships, because I've been on the inside of a like two, and something that I've always noted is that they play with shapes a lot, and I've always found that really cool. So I'm probably going to be using like borrowing that attitude for this place in general. But and I was about to start thinking of things to put in here, but then I realized this is where I want the beacons to go. Yeah, so we're gonna have like a speed beacon, maybe a haste beacon, who knows what else, like popping through this hole, and this is gonna be encasing it. And as you can see, we used some, you know, dyed glass, some basically the last of our frog lights. I don't know how I'm gonna continue this, I'm gonna be honest with you, because the only person selling frog lights is Beardo, and not entirely keen on buying stuff from him right now. I just kind of thought of your general kind of power beam and like futuristic, you know, artistry sculptures that you sometimes see on Etsy, and just kind of did a little spiral design with that. But the things that I'm struggling with, as per usual, is the ceiling and the floor. I have no idea what to do with that. I want to do like a pattern, but I don't want it to be too much, if that makes any sense. And also, I want to be able to naturally transition into this white here. So we'll I gotta do some brainstorming for a bit. While I'm brainstorming on that, I am going to actually meet with Obi to see if he knows anything about this stone. I hope so, because I am completely clueless, and I'm not entirely certain how much I trust Blank's machines. I mean, I'm sure he's talented and what have you, but still, I don't know. Hello.
What? Oh, oh, hello. Oh my gosh.
What happened to your house?
Uh, I guess I meditated too long. I guess.
um, well, I might have a reason for you to meditate more.
Oh, Okay.
If it's not too inconvenient for you.
I am intrigued by this little swirl on the stone, though.
Yeah, we were curious about that. Blank was like just going around in caves, just trying to gather some materials for his basement, and he eventually found a cave that had a like a what, like a pedestal, an altar, and that was sitting on the top of it.
Is there a way that I can maybe see this room?
Yeah, sure. It's a bit of a travel though.
Okay.
We gotta find a way out of here. We found above entrance. It shouldn't be too hard to find, although it is a little secluded.
Okay.
Follow me down. I think it's in around here. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, creeper.
Yep. You saved my life. I'm eternally grateful. Perhaps if we put the stone back. Okay, nothing.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Just had to experiment.
Maybe you can sit on it for a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I could definitely meditate on it when I have free time. For sure.
All right. Just hit me up whenever you think you got something. Anything will be nice. We're kind of clueless on it at the minute.
All right. Yeah. Definitely glad to help. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm the wise.
You are the wise, yes. And I think we are finished with this room. As you can see, we got the ceiling, and I literally just did the opposite pointing. The ceiling and the floor figured out. For the floor, we ended up going with clay again, which I'm kind of surprised by. I didn't think I was going to be using this again so soon. Thankfully, I have a lot of it. But we also have some andesite here because it kind of has that lighter color, and it also has a slightly cooler color. So it transitions into the clay quite nicely, and we have the stone at the intersection bits just to change things up. And for the ceiling, we have kind of the wall pattern kind of going into the ceiling as well. But there was one thing I didn't completely think through, and that was the fact that I didn't do the walls symmetrically. So I might end up either redoing it or heavily editing it later down the line. But yeah, it's a lot of things to work on. What I might actually end up doing is just taking out those 3 blocks there and those 3 there. I'm going to do that right now, actually. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. I think I might be able to edit this into something that's somewhat usable. It's kind of a mess right now, especially with that bit. I still got to figure that out. But in other news, we got these 2 walls here. This actually is kind of similar feeling to what I did with the town hall, the windows at least, where it's basically just a cool color version of your typical stained glass window, because I don't know, I just like stained glass windows. They give me a very cozy and warm feeling, which is funny because I'm using cold colors here, but whatever. But as you can see, we still have this back entrance right here, even though we don't have the stairs anymore. I figured it would just be best if I used it the way I did just now, just using a firework, because the stairs was just not fitting in with what I wanted to do. As you can see, we have this ender pearl dispenser, and you guys are probably wondering what the iron trap door is doing here. Well, if we press this button, you'll hear some droppers go off, and hopefully well, yeah, for some reason it doesn't show up until it's practically landed. I've tried figuring that out. I don't know how to do it, but it essentially perfectly dispenses 16 ender pearls out to you, which we're actually probably going to have to use to get down there in just a moment. But in other news, I also did a little something else. Ready for a magic trick? I thought that was kind of clever, not gonna lie. But yeah, we have a calibrated skulk sensor down there, which essentially detects a couple of different noises. I intended it to just be the bow, but it also happens with fireworks and eating, so not the most secure thing, but I wasn't really going for security anyways. I was just trying to make it so that this was hidden from view most of the time, because again, we're trying to use barrels so we save on frame rate issues, but you know, they're not very futuristic looking, so it's just good to have them hidden away most of the time. But yeah, as you can see, I've already started stuffing stuff into here because I am a very responsible Minecrafter. But that being said, let's get down beneath this and try it. I think this is a good block to land on. Yeah, here we go. So where do I even start down here? So the button is like right about there, and it has it going into this, which goes into the droppers here, which as you can see have ender pearls in them, and they have a little waterway. As you can see, I had to dip the the droppers for a moment, and I realized I was only getting 15. And apparently, whenever you do this, or maybe this is just locationality, but you won't get this dropper to go, so I had to place another redstone right here. So that's why this random bit of redstone's here. And then this kind of goes into a very rudimentary repeater timer, which goes into a little signal extender. I forget what it's called exactly, which goes into this observer, which flashes this redstone for a moment, which, as you can see, has this water bucket dispenser right here. That's what essentially gets the ender pearls to go up once they stack all together, because when they all kind of combine together into like the stack, yeah, like that, they will essentially kind of act as one object, which essentially just makes it easier to move them around and what have you. That will essentially go into that redstone torch, which goes into the iron trapdoor above. Admittedly, this thing is actually exposed to the tunnel, but thankfully, with the way that I have this set up, it kind of goes into that far corner, so it shouldn't ever try to escape into this hole. And unfortunately, I'm not that good at redstone, so I couldn't really figure out a way to get that iron trapdoor to open up otherwise. But thankfully, you don't see it too much, and thankfully it doesn't cause any technical issues. So hey, I'd say that is a win. But for the the pistons, it's fairly simple. It's just a calibrated skulk sensor with a signal of, I think, 3 coming from this hopper with a shovel, because that takes up a whole slot, which essentially locks this thing to only detecting sounds that give a signal strength of 3. So whenever this does activate due to those few things, like say with me eating a pork chop, it will go into this dropper T flip-flop, which I think might be my new favorite T flip-flop at the moment. So it starts off here, and then it goes into here, which I guess this manages to also activate just a tick later, which goes into this hopper, and then goes into this, which then allows this comparator to turn on, and then, you know, allows it to do its thing. But when you activate it again, This dropper will just pop right back into here. So, you know, turns it off. And from there, pretty simple, just some redstone line running alongside the pistons. I had to redo this redstone layout a couple of times just because, oh my gosh, yeah, this place is just completely mob infested. But yeah, that's essentially how the redstone works, and I don't have any more rockets. Oops. There's no creepers over there, is there? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that pearl's going into nowhere. Oh, no. And there I am in the middle of the ocean. So I think that's about where I should probably end the video. I do apologize if this video just seems like there was less going on, or if it's shorter, or if it's slower paced. That's mostly because I have been doing a lot of stuff IRL, and that's caused me to, you know, lag a bit behind on projects. But I'm happy that I managed to at least get this much done. But also, the day after this is posted, I will be traveling up north to see some family. So next upload will probably take a bit longer than usual. I'm sorry. I do really appreciate your guys' patience that you've been having with the videos. I really appreciate that. One last thing, the glass in here, the stained glass rather, is technically contraband. Like the top bit of that and also this is technically contraband. And don't worry, I'm gonna pay for it after this, but I did have to get the materials myself. But I'm gonna pay full price for it. Don't worry about it. I'll drop it off. But the reason being is that Baloo's back has kind of gone out, and I figured, yeah, he's not going to be able to be on the server much. So I had to go out and gather it myself, just so I can get this video out and so on and so forth. I know I don't ask for this sort of thing very often, but it would be heavily appreciated if you guys could just go on Baloo's latest video or something like that. I'll put it on the end screen here. And if you could just give him some kind words, maybe wish him a smooth recovery, I'd really appreciate that. I'm sure he would as well. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.